Minnesota Timberwolves were once a team that showed a lot of promise. Many believe they're going to be the best young team in basketball. Led by Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, the Wolves looked to be the next team up. But then things went south. But let's look at how it started. After years of poor drafting and wasting the prime of Kevin Love, changes need to be made. They traded Kevin Love to the Cavs in exchange for the 2014 first overall pick, Andrew Wiggins, and a 2013 first overall pick, Anthony Bennett. Andrew Wiggins was viewed as a potential transcendent talent, while Anthony Bennett had been one of the worst rookies ever to be a first overall pick, but still showed potential. That season, the Minnesota Timberwolves went 16-66, the worst record in the league. However, Andrew Wiggins showed a lot of promise, averaging nearly 17 points per game and winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Also, the Wolves' 13th overall pick, Zach LaVine from the 2014 draft, showed a lot of promise as well. He would land the first overall pick inside Kentucky big man Karl-Anthony Towns, while also acquiring a 2015 Final Four Most Outstanding Player Tyus Jones after trading up to the 24th pick with Cleveland. They would go 29-53, missing the playoffs again, but Karl-Anthony Towns showed a lot of promise, winning Rookie of the Year unanimously after averaging 18 points per game and 10 rebounds per game. Wiggins would average 20 points per game and almost 46% shooting from the field, while Zach LaVine averaged 14 points per game as his third option. The 2016 draft, they would win the 5th overall pick and select Chris Dunn, a point guard from Providence who many thought would be the 3rd overall pick. They would hire head coach Tom Thibodeau, and many thought the Timberwolves would make the playoffs. They would go 31-51 and miss the playoffs. However, Karl-Anthony Towns would average 25 points a game and 12 rebounds a game, showing he was already establishing himself as one of the best big men in basketball and one of the best players in the NBA. While Andrew Wiggins would average almost 24 points a game on 45% shooting from the field. However, it wasn't all fine and dandy, and despite averaging almost 19 points per game, Zach LaVine tore his ACL 47 games into the season. And Chris Dunn was horrible in his rookie year, averaging only around 4 points per game, 2 rebounds per game, and 2 assists per game, while shooting under 41% from the field. However, that could all be attributed to Coach Thibs giving him inconsistent minutes. Sometimes he would play 30 minutes, other times he would barely get on the court. This clearly took a mental toll on Chris Dunn and can attribute to him having a poor rookie season. However, he was a good defender and showed flashes throughout the year. And this is where the turning point happens. The Timberwolves would trade the 7th overall pick, Zach LaVine, and Chris Dunn in exchange for Jimmy Butler and the 16th overall pick. The Bulls would use the 7th overall pick to select Lauri Markkanen, a stretch 4 from Arizona. They signed Derrick Rose midway through the season, and the Timberwolves would make the playoffs for the first time in 13 years, even though Jimmy Butler missed a chunk of the season with injury. Karl-Anthony Towns would make his first All-Star team and be named to the All-NBA third team. They would win 47 games after having to win the final game of the season to make the playoffs against the Nuggets, and they would lose in the first round to the Rockets in 5 games. But things looked up. Jimmy Butler was injured for that chunk, and the Wolves were locked to make the playoffs, and they were as high as the 3rd seed when he was healthy. However, some things were concerning, and it started with Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins' production took a dip after averaging close to 18 points per game this year, after averaging almost 24 points per game the year prior. This was to be expected, as someone had to take a back seat when Jimmy Butler was on the team. However, it wasn't expected for Andrew Wiggins to be the 3rd option that led the team in field goal attempts and 3-point attempts. He was first in attempts, but 3rd in mixed. This means he was inefficient. But maybe it was just an adjusting year to a new rule, and next year would be different. Well, it would be different, but for not the right reason, to say the least. You see, Jimmy Butler became frustrated with Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins' motor. Basically, he was calling them soft. It got to the point where he requested a trade, and then went to practice, grabbed the 3rd stringers, beat the starters, yelling, "Trade me," multiple times throughout the scrimmage. He was traded to the 76ers after 13 games. The Timberwolves would receive Jared Bayless, Robert Covington, Dario Saric, and the 2022 second-round pick. Covington and Saric are solid players that can contribute in the future. However, the Wolves would miss the playoffs after going 36-46, and Andrew Wiggins showed signs of being a major disappointment after averaging just 18 points per game on 41% shooting from the field, even though Jimmy Butler was gone. Derrick Rose was a bright spot for the team. He had a game where he scored 50 points, and he averaged 18 points per game in 51 games. Karl-Anthony Towns was good as well, averaging 24 points per game, 12 rebounds per game, on almost 52% field goal shooting, making a second All-Star team. With Jimmy Butler gone, let's look at the pieces they used to trade for him. Chris Dunn has dealt with injuries but has proven he can be a solid two-way point guard if you give him the opportunity. Zach LaVine almost averaged 24 points a game this past year and was debatably an all-star level player. And Roy Markkanen averaged almost 19 points a game, showing signs that he was one of the better stretch fours in the basketball. So I think it's safe to say that all of that is better than a one-year rental of Jimmy Butler. So what caused this downfall? A combination of poor head coaching, bad decisions, a bad trade, and a player not being what he was expected to be. Do I think it's over for them? No. Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the best big men in basketball, and is a player you can build around. Wiggins could easily bounce back next year, although I find it hard to see him doing so. They have the 11th overall pick in this year's draft, and maybe they find the missing piece. But until then, they have fallen. Fallen from what was once as the best young team in basketball, that was bound to win multiple titles, and this generation's version of the Big Three OKC. To no man's land. Not good enough to contend, but not bad enough to land top pick. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you liked the video, please feel free to like and subscribe, turn on notifications. It really supports the channel and helps me grow. Have a nice day.